And we are jumping into our next speaker. Dennis, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Wonderful. I hear you loud and clear. So
That's
yeah, I'm
nice.
so happy to have you here. I have to tell the story that we were visited things, was it 3 weeks ago, I guess?
Yes, it was.
3 weeks ago by a program from Denmark where which is focusing solely on hardware. And for people like me, that is like meeting Jesus. I told somebody that it was so great to have this team of 20 companies in the room for a couple of hours. And one of them was Dennis. And I thought that the product you have developed fit very well into today's program. It's yet another great product, smart product to do something we already know and do, but to do it much better. So why don't you share your screen and tell us your story, Dennis?
Sure thing, Magnus, and thank you for the nice introduction. Just a second, I'll share my screen. Can you all see the
Yeah,
logo? That's great.
perfect.
Cool. Great. So my name is Dennis True, and I am CEO and co-founder of Simplewire, which is a digital system for mapping electrical installations in buildings. So I'd like to start off by telling you guys the story about my good friend Lasse here. So just recently, Lasse had to go to the dentist office to go get a root canal. Obviously, nobody likes a root canal, and my friend Lasse is no exception. At the dentist office, everything is progressing fine until suddenly, midway during the operation, the lights in the operation room goes dark. An electrical fault has happened somewhere in the building. They call an electrician who quickly comes to the rescue. But once he gets there, he's unable to figure out which breaker the lights are associated with. Poor Lasse. In the end, Lasse is sent home and has to come back another day to finish the root canal. The story sounds made up, but it is actually very real, and it actually happens quite often. And the bigger the building, the bigger the problem. In a place like the Danish National Hospital, which I'm showing you here, there's approximately 20,000 breakers. Try you finding the right one when something goes wrong. So the current solution you use today is using labels on all electrical outlets and cables with the name of the breaker they're associated with. The solution works to some extent, but it has some big flaws. First of all, it's very time consuming and hard to do properly. And secondly, it's very hard to maintain as the labeling has to be updated each time there's some modification being done. And sometimes the labels also just fall off. At the Rigshospitalet, or the Danish National Hospital that I just showed you, we estimated that it would take 250,000 labels to do a correct mapping. Now, how long time do you think it would take to put up all those labels? And how long time do you think it would take before the labels would be out of date? I can tell you now that in many areas of the Danish National Hospital, they have these problems, and even in the newer buildings. And that's when problems like Lasse's experience start to arise. Of course, in a building like Rigshospitalet, the Danish National Hospital, bad things doesn't happen because the electricians there exert extreme caution when doing just the smallest things. But that leads to a host of new problems, such as spending ridiculous amounts of time trying to establish overview, which leads to bottlenecks in service and modifications, as well as increased budget for electrical maintenance. And the problem is not small at all. Electricians estimate that when working in a building without overview in the form of documentation and labels, 70 to 95% of the time is spent just trying to figure out where wires go and come from. So we started digging and found out that no one has ever done anything remotely to fix this issue, which is why we decided to patent and build Simplewire. So this is our solution, and it's in fact quite simple. You have the main controller at A and the tag unit. Both are installed at the breaker board. For a standard board, you'll need one controller and one tag unit for each breaker in the board. When installed, you can just log on to the controller and type in the names you want your breakers to have. The entire installation process should take less than an hour for a breaker board to do, and there is no setup beside putting in the names, so even untrained personnel should be able to figure out this quickly. When the system is installed, the individual tag units introduces a high-frequency modulated signal on the wires they're connected to, much like an RFID, which can be scanned with our scanner. That means that you can now use our scanner to get the information you previously needed to look for labels or documentation to find. That means that you can drastically increase efficiency and stability in operations of your facilities in just a matter of hours. So we made a case for this for the Danish National Hospital. So our system for their entire premises would cost 70,000 euros per month. That sounds like a lot, but a place like that big has electricians' bills each month for more than 10 times that amount. That means if the electricians only used 50% of the time trying to establish overview, the system will save Rigshospitalet 280,000 euros each month, as well as increasing stability, speeding up modifications, reducing the need of labor, which is especially important right now as hands are few in the industry. So a little about us. We're a small team of 4 people. We started in August last year. I have a background in electrical engineering, but nowadays I focus primarily on the commercial side of things. The same goes for my partner, Peter, which also focuses on production as well. Peter has the added benefit of having industry experience from his time in Rambøll, where he's worked with Martin, who's a former electrician turned construction advisor, specializing in electrical installation. Dennis Kasten is our main R&D engineer, and he also has a background in electrical engineering. The status right now is that the product is nearing completion, and the first products will be available in the beginning next year. In the coming months, we'll be doing pilot projects with companies such as Tivoli Gardens, Danish Technical University, and Copenhagen Airport. And we are looking for a few more, so please let me know if you're interested. And if there's any investors out there, the goal right now is to sell 70 standard-sized breaker boards during 2022, which will result in an EBIT of minus 70k euros due to production expenses, investments, and sales. The goal for 2023 is to sell 600 standard-sized breaker boards. That corresponds to about 0.5% of just the Danish market, and will result in an EBIT of 3 million euros in 2023. And our final goal is becoming industry standard, having Simplewire installed in all breaker boards. And as I said, we're looking for investors and pilot projects. And if you're interested, don't be a stranger. Go visit simplewire.io. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Brilliant presentation. I wish I had a lot of sockets to take care of, but I don't. I'll talk to Linda about our house. And you already gave the investors what they need. So that's brilliant. Okay, yeah. I think we stop there. Thank you so much.